Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James A.C. Cooley. And wow, I am so excited to have this guest on the show today. Not only is this man is a wealth of knowledge, wisdom, vision, understanding, focus, but he's celebrating something today, and he's celebrating this major event on the James Cooley Show with Michelle and I. And I tell you, incredible. I call him a young man, incredible young man that's going to bring excitement and joy and happiness, and smiles to your face, all of those things that you will be able to figure out as when we start the show. And I'm not going to give it away right now, Michelle, but I am excited about this man. What are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. He's been a previous guest on the show. We were just really excited to have him back. And you're right, he is celebrating a special day today, but you'll let the audience know later on. But I'm just so excited to introduce him.
We're going to talk about what he's going to talk about today is something that I truly believe in. It has knowledge, experience, and
Yes,
imagination.
yes, bringing knowledge, experience, imagination together, the title
No,
of the
no,
show.
no, 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 no. Let me do my portion of
Oh, okay.
knowledge, experience, and imagination because I believe that knowledge, and I do it a different way. Uh, Vision, understanding, focus. All of these things come together because knowledge is through education, whether it's formal or whether it's through learn, from the people that you're around, and you understand and you pick up certain things, and you just go with it from there. Experiences is being able to put those um, the knowledge that you gained um, into actions and create other things together. Experience. Imagination is, in my opinion, is being able to see past the tip of your nose, being able to see past the roadblock that's in front of you, being able to know that you can, because I believe if you can see it here, you can do it. And this doctor is going to talk to us about all of those great things. And I can't wait, Michelle. So, can you please introduce the title of the show, purpose of the show, and introduce this absolutely wonderful, sensational guest that we have?
Yes, the title of the show again is Bringing Knowledge, Experience, and Imagination Together. We're having a conversation with Dr. James A. Omps. He's an international speaker, educator, writer, philosopher, composer, and musician. And he's going to talk about why imagination is so important and how does entrepreneurology honor knowledge and experience, and what are the principles we can light up with our imagination. Again, he is a writer, philosopher, composer, musician, educator, and he's the president of the International University of Entrepreneurology. James spent more than 35 years working with the IUE founder, who also happens to be his late father, Dr. James R. Omps. They worked together developing and fine-tuning the discipline of entrepreneurology. He's also the co-founder and chief strategist who was involved in the creation of the World Association of Visionaries and Entrepreneurologists in 1991. With 40 plus years experience in and with business across the globe, US, India, Malaysia, he brings open-minded perspectives to the table for examination and understanding. Please welcome back to the show, Dr. James Omps.
How you doing, my friend? How are you doing?
Doing well. Can, with everything else being equal, I think I'm doing all right.
I want the world to know that you're celebrating your 80th birthday, which is, I know you. I, you're nowhere near 80, especially from a mindset perspective. I mean, you still moving along, just gathering knowledge and vision, understanding, focus, and focusing on entrepreneurology and changing the world, bringing happiness to everyone that you come in contact with, my friend. happy birthday. I want to be the first to say that. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much, JC. You honor me by even saying that. It's been a long road, but an interesting road. And the people I've met along the way, they have inspired me. They have made me want to be here today to celebrate 80 years of drawing breath on this plane of existence.
We're going to get another 80, Jim. And I say we because through the vision of entrepreneurology, through the vision of bringing hope, joy, and happiness, through the vision of just kind of getting rid of all the stress and trying to work together and in unity ultimately in the world and bringing smiles and joy. You are an expert, you and your beautiful wife, Pauline. And I just want to thank you, both of you all, for all that you have done for Michelle and I. And wow. And just having you on the show, you taking the time to come on your show on your birthday, that just, you don't know how that makes me and Michelle feel.
Well, again, it's an honor to be here. And I don't know if it took a lot of courage for you to invite me back again, but it's interesting. I noticed on the intro where all of the things are coming across the screen. There was one of those that jumped out and grabbed me because it lends itself actually quite well to what I want to talk about today. And it says, discover the courage within you.
Oh, yeah.
That's something you put up there. And the fact of the matter is, you need that to do the things that life throws at you on a day in, day out basis. You know it. That's why you put it up on the screen, you and your lovely wife, Michelle. It's to really engage, if you will, your imagination takes courage. It doesn't take a lot of courage to invest in the status quo. That's a pretty safe investment. What is a little scarier and what takes a little more courage is to step out into the future, because many times that puts a target on your back. When that happens, you've got two things you can say. Wow, I don't, that really stresses me. I can't do this. Or you can say, so be it. And I look at what you and Michelle have accomplished, and I go, the courage it must have taken to take those steps, because there's no shortage of people to tell you, you can't do that. No, I know. I've been to college. I'm an expert. I know you can't. That's impossible. And again, you have a decision to make. You can buy into what they say because they obviously they're very knowledgeable people, or you can engage both your experience and your imagination and go, but what if? What if? And those are the things, JC, as you know, that make it possible for us to move forward. Quite frankly, nothing else really can. Your knowledge is not going to take you forward. It substantiates where you are, and that's a good thing. I'm not saying you do need to be an educated person. You need to know how to think. You need to be able to apply whatever tools you pick up as you go through an education process, as you mentioned, be it at a college, a university, or be it through just working, being on the street, doing the day-to-day. because you learn there. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, and I'm aware of that because you're having been blessed to spend Pauline and I to spend some time with you and really get to know you beyond the person that everybody right now is seeing on their television screen or their computer screen. It's interesting to actually sit down across the table and just talk, just have a conversation. You can learn, and that's a learning process in and of itself. So it's again, you're an exceptionally interesting, knowledgeable, and courageous person. And I can tell you right now that in my 80 years walking down the highway of life, I have met, I can count on one hand the number of people I have met that really fit into the category of a teacher, a prophet, somebody you can follow. And JC, you're one of the five. So I look forward to being able to spend time with you and Michelle as well, as Pauline and I have talked about, because something tells me, and I base this on my experience with I won't say my better half, that makes me feel somehow less of a person, but certainly my other half.
I tell you what, hold it though, because we're going to come back and we're going to pick this up and we're going to start talking about bringing knowledge, experience, and imagination together. Just like what Dr. Jim just said, long as you can imagine, and long as you understand those other two pieces that we're going to talk about, you can do anything that you set your mind to. You have to push the naysayers to the side. It's always going to be naysayers. But you got to believe in yourself. So we're going to take a station break. We're going to come back. We're going to pick it up. And whichever platform that you're watching this on, whether it's E36 Television, Transverse TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, or over 55 other live streaming networks, welcome to the show. And if you want to be part of the conversation, that's this great doctor, Dr. Omps. All you have to do is just go to the platform that you're on, ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. Remember, it's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of who you are. The one that keeps us close when we're apart. Walking from the darkness of all that we've been through. It seems that there might be a way to leave behind the loneliness we've known and live again life of
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. My absolutely fantastic guest here, my good friend, Dr. Jim Omps. And today we're talking about bringing knowledge, experience, and imagination together. And one thing that Jim mentioned earlier, it requires courage. Courage to do. Anybody can be the status quo. Anybody can just follow in somebody else's footsteps and just be average and ordinary. But if you want to make changes, if you want to influence others to do the right thing, you already was born with what I call your birthrights. And your birthrights are confidence, courage, hope, belief, and faith. And I believe that, and Jim getting ready to get off into these, you take those birthrights together and through these things, you learn through experiences, you learn through education, you learn through formal education, you learn from others and gather the experience, put that to work. And when you run across a situation where you say, somebody going to tell you, it's going to be a lot of naysayers, you cannot do this. You can't, you have to be able to see past the tip of your nose. You have to imagine, that you can do this. As long as you can see it here, you can do it. So Dr. Omps, I want to pick it up with that. Why is imagination more important than knowledge?
Well, and I'm glad you asked me that question, James. It's interesting because my favorite quote has always been one by thank you. One by Albert Einstein. And I mean, when you talk about an educated person, a very intelligent person, sometimes, at least in my lifetime, the name that comes to the fore is Albert Einstein. And he said decades ago, he's said, knowledge, imagination is more important than knowledge. And that's the question that pops into your head. Well, how can that possibly be? And he goes on, he says, knowledge is limited. It will limit you, but imagination can take you around the world. And like JC said, it's a matter of thinking beyond the possible. How many, if you've studied the life of Albert Einstein, how many mathematicians have spent their career trying to disprove E equals MC squared? And yet, as time goes on, as they do their best to disprove it, what they find is they are, in fact, proving what he said. And he was able to do that because he could see beyond what we knew. And it's that drive to look beyond the possible and imagine what, how could I get over that hurdle? And it's interesting that if you can, well, somebody once says, if you can imagine it, you can accomplish it. And imagination is, quite frankly, the only thing that has taken us beyond where we are or the status quo. Knowledge is a wonderful thing, and it will it will make the place you're standing right now at this time, it'll make it feel very, very safe. And that's a good thing. I'm not saying you have to continually have your imagination in gear, although there's a song. I'll just, well, it was just my imagination running away with me. Yes, it was just my imagination running away with me. And that happens to me more often than I care to admit. I have a very fertile imagination. I inherited that in part from my late father because he took steps beyond what was known, and he worked in a factory that sold knowledge. Dad was a university professor for a number of years. As a matter of fact, he retired from the university he was teaching at in the mid 1970s. And he tried to get, I'll give you a very quick example. Dad wanted to put a program in the business curriculum, and he called it failure management. And they said, oh my God, no, you can't do that. You can't use the word failure. And I have been counseled a number of times, even not all that long ago, about you can't use the word failure. But what Dad wanted to impress on people was, it isn't, he said, managing a success is easy. It'll start to manage itself. But he said, you have to be aware of the things that can trigger something to fail. Those are the things you have to spend your time managing. And JC, just a few minutes ago, when you were speaking, you came up and you said, doing the right things. That, my friend, is a key. And it was, again, I'll go back to one of the things my father impressed upon me. He said, it isn't about doing things right. He said, the further you go down the road to success, the more successful a business becomes, the bigger it becomes. Doing things right, that's what you key on. But he said, you need to never let the fact that it's doing the right things that really add value to what you're doing. So when you're sitting there at your desk in the office that says CEO on the outside of the door, and you're imagining, when you're engaging your imagination, and I don't care what you're trying to imagine, it's that the imagination that will drive you forward, because the changes that come at you day in, day out, no matter what you are, what you're doing, the imagination is the thing that gets you beyond what is the thing that's telling you this is impossible. So it transcends knowledge, and experience is the thing. The experience is what creates the knowledge beyond any college classroom that you ever sat in. Your experience will tell you you need to do this and that, and we know this because it's happened before. We've experienced this and we know what works. So the experience creates the knowledge. The imagination will eventually take that knowledge, and it will, you might sit down one day and go, my goodness, that almost sounds like wisdom. And once you get to that point, don't let it take you beyond where you sit at this time. I've run into a few people who believe that everything that comes out of their mouth is wisdom. And there are some that deserve to be able to believe that, because there are people that have been, and though I was going to say time in life creates wisdom, and I can tell you for a fact that's not exactly true. Speaking from a point that's 80 years from where I started several decades ago. So it's a combination. When I was asked by my father to come up with that a saying that would kind of encapsulate what entrepreneurology was all about, it took me a while, but I said, well, bringing knowledge, experience, and imagination together. Do I take credit for that? It came out of my mouth. I wrote it down on a piece of paper, but I honestly, honest to God, I believe it came from a higher power, because I'm not sure I had at that point in my life the wisdom to create that. And the one thing that we've done, a little bit like the path that Albert Einstein was on, that is, the further you go down the path that we were on, the more you realize, wow, bringing knowledge, experience, and imagination together, that works. That really.
Hey, Jim, I want to say a little something on that, because you just brought something up that I speak about, in my presentation, my brief on stage, etc. And it's a little slight different than how you just said it, but I call it knowledge, understanding provides a key. Knowledge, understanding, and focus provides a key. And what I mean by that is knowledge is the same as you define it. You're just gathering, understanding, education, life experiences, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you take those things that you learn through knowledge and you apply those to what we call understanding. Understanding to me is knowing that if, case in point, when I was 6, 7 years old in Graham, Alabama, and we did not have any electricity or anything in the house. We had a fire burning stove where you put wood and coal in it, right? And as a little boy, 6 or 7, I used to, when my grandma or my aunt and uncle wasn't around, I look at that and I see the fire and I go up there and touch it. Burn my hand. Guess what? I forget about that. The next day, I'm still intrigued, and I look at the fire burning stove, no electricity. I go up there and do it. Burn myself again. But guess what? The next day, I done forgot almost that. But I see the fire burning stove. I walk up there. All of a sudden, it hit me. If I do this, I'm going to burn myself and I'm going to be screaming. Understanding just clicked in. So the knowledge that I gathered from that eventually become a understanding, meaning that you can't do that. And you mentioned something about this thing. So I say knowledge, understanding, focus provides a key to everything that we do in life, meaning that we continue to grow, we continue to progress. We seek this thing called wisdom. Wisdom is what we live our whole life in pursuit of. And I didn't mean to mess anything up, but I'm just telling you how this is. I've been speaking on this for a while and didn't know why I was speaking on it like that until you just broke it down. And this, in pursuit of this thing, and it takes a whole lifetime in most cases, experiences that we have in order to get this key. And so this key is you have to be careful with the key that you get because you got 1,000, 10,000 doors. This key only fits one door. And if you put the key in the wrong door, it dissolves. So my point is this: knowledge comes from everything that we're around our experiences. Understanding is something that's learned, that which provide this key, and then we have to sit back, depending on where we are seeking or what we're seeking. We have to make sure that we narrow all these 1,000 doors down to about 3. And case in point, say you were looking for a key to the zoo, just big zoo. I mean everything. So you done narrowed it all the way down from 1,000 to 3. Now all the noises are sounding similar to the same.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, Doc.
Well, absolutely.
So you have to sit back in life. So this is wisdom. This key unlocks wisdom. You have to listen to every least one of those doors 5 or 6 times, and then narrow them down to one door. And then you come down in life is like wisdom, in my opinion, is like, that doesn't sound like a lion, tiger, or bear. That doesn't sound like a lion, tiger, bear. So you go with wisdom, you go with experiences, you go with that. And guess what? You stick that key into the right one, wisdom open up. You have just succeeded in everything that you're looking for. But it requires confidence, courage, hope, belief, and faith. It requires knowledge, experience, and imagination. Imagination. And I didn't mean to cut you off, Doc, but you had me going on that one.
You say every time I listen to you, something else comes back to me, and you were talking and understanding. You're absolutely correct. It's if you don't understand, like you said, you're setting yourself up to make mistakes. Mistakes aren't the end of the world, but how much easier the path ahead will be if you understand enough to eliminate making some of those mistakes. And it's fascinating because I look at the world today and I go, boy, what's going on? And what understanding factors in very, very quickly. And it's interesting. Again, something I heard decades ago.
Well, hold that thought, Doc, because we're
Sure.
probably 5 minutes over the break, and I'm gonna get beat up.
Great.
Let's come back with understanding, if that's okay.
Okay,
With you.
you got it.
So I hope you are enjoying this conversation. As you see,
I-
this break. I'm talking to
I couldn't be happier. I love interacting with you, sir.
So we're gonna take a station break. If you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is just whichever platform that you watch this on. Let's go to the platform. Ask us any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life. We'll see you shortly after the break. Hello, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be on it, to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, I want to apologize. I got caught up. I'm listening to this great doctor, this great philosopher, this great man, and he says a couple of things that trigger. I mean, because our lectures are similar in a sense. It's like you mentioned that, boom, 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 boom. And then my thoughts on what I do came back to, because they're the same, similar, but different terminology sometimes. But I do believe that our successes determine our knowledge, experience, understanding, and our ability to utilize our imagination in the best possible form that we can. And this great doctor, this great chancellor, this great president, this great man, as you see, I told you, this great artist. I mean, I can continue to add great, great, great to it because he do it all and he do them all extremely well. So, Dr. Jim, I want to pick it back up. We were talking about understanding.
Absolutely.
And I almost missed the break completely. But sometimes it's like that when you're having a great conversation.
Well, it is interesting, as you said. Understanding factors into virtually everything. That if you must understand something, like you said, before it becomes usable knowledge, before it becomes applicable experience. So, I mean, you do need understanding. And the problem that I've seen that seems to be growing every now and then is that the lack of understanding. Oh, you've got this problem or that problem. And I've heard so many of our elected representatives stand up and say, we need to do this and we need to do that. And and I go, it dawns on me. The problem is not that they don't understand, although that's fairly obvious, but the real problem is they do not understand that they don't understand. And that adds a depth to it. And like you were saying, JC, it's something, understanding is something that you have to come to. It isn't anything you can force on somebody. Everybody has to eventually understand. And if you don't, then you are stuck dealing all the time with the status quo. So, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up because it is the key that opens doors. And without that key, God help us all.
Well, you mentioned understanding, and I look at the world, Doc. And I look at the world broken down in 3 categories. And I'm trying not to be long-winded on this one. I believe that the world, regardless of the population, regardless how many, is still broken down into 3 categories. And that's what I call the 87, the 10, and the 3. Let me repeat that again. The world is broken down. Regardless where you at in the world, regardless where you at in a country or city, it's broken down into 3 categories: the 87%, the 3%, and the 10%. Now, my point is this. Based on where we brought up or raised or whichever country, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just certain people from a political or whatever that is, what I call alpha folks, are going to get out in front, and non-alphas are going to follow, right? Depending on how strong and how, I mean, your understanding, not tomorrow, regardless of which category you are, that's where you're going to fall in. 87% of the world population, in my opinion, lack understanding. And they what we call average, ordinary, and below because of the mindset, because of the lack of understanding. And they would do anything anybody tell them to. And say, go this way. Why are you doing that? Because they told me. Or go that way. Why are you doing that? That's what they told me to do. Yeah, so if you lack understanding, and if you lack the knowledge, and if you lack imagination, whoever point this, so they're gonna be average, ordinary, and below for the rest of their life. I'm talking about it ain't nothing you can do is going to change. 10% of the world population is, they are above the 87%. They do have some knowledge, some understanding, but they lack, and nowhere near wisdom, but they lack courage. They lack courage. They lack confidence. So they're going to manage the 87%, if that make any sense. They're going to tell them based on where they're getting their feedback from. If their feedback is coming from somebody, right? And they're going to manage that. So keep in mind, 10%, if you're 87% and you lack understanding, there's no way you're going to move up. Now, if you wanted the 10%, that's what I call 10%, is being able to think out the box sometimes, but being able to have the confidence and courage to do a whole lot of things. But, however, most of the time, the 10%ers get caught up in, or whoever they're getting direction from. I want you to do this. I want you to take this chair, walk around the building 8 times, and I want that chair over there. 87% is going to do it. We're looking at their watch and do it because they don't. Only thing they care about is clock time doing this. 10% of the folks like, that's dumb. That's stupid. I don't know. That's stupid. But I'm going to do it because that's stupid. Because they lack the confidence and courage. 3%ers go by what we call the golden rule. And you know what that is, right? Whoever had the gold rules. That's the golden rule. And they make all the rules, right? Because they got the money or the gold or whatever. My point is this. Understanding is so implanted in me that I know that requires courage, confidence, courage, hope, belief, and faith. And it requires a standalone thinking process, meaning hopefully it's right. Because you're going to get feedback. And just like you mentioned earlier, Doc, you said, well, people, a naysayer, they're going to tell you can't do this and you can't do that. And why you not doing it? Oh, they told me I can't do it. So I ain't even going to take a chance on doing those things. But remember, let's go back to 10%. It's always going to be somebody in the 10% is going to have, it's going to be 1 out of the 10 going to come up to the boss or whoever the golden rule is and say, okay, what's important to you? What do you want? Oh, well, I just want that chair to be over there. So I don't have to walk around the building on 15 times like everybody else at 30. Guess what they do? They take that chair because they understand exactly what they want now and put it over there. I hope you know what I'm saying, Jim. I know it's being able to have the understanding, being able to have the confidence and courage to go up there and say, okay, exactly what do you want, boss? How can I help you? How can I make it better? What do you want? Oh, no, I didn't want that over there. In essence, I want more profits. I want to do this. Well, you're doing it the wrong way. How come you didn't tell me that the first time? That's what I believe entrepreneurology is all about, being able to teach, being able to draw in, being able to utilize knowledge, experience, and imagination. What are your thoughts on that? We got 3 minutes before the break.
You amaze me. It took me years to get to where you got in a few seconds. So no, you nailed it, JC. Entrepreneurology, it's a very natural thing. What you need, no matter what you're taking in, what you need is going to come from here. And that's the difference between an entrepreneur and an entrepreneurologist. An entrepreneurologist was a step up. It was, as you put it, understanding what's going on. You have to understand how the world works before you can do anything to make it better, to help it move to the next level. I love the things you have to say because I learn from them. And if I'm learning from them, there's a lot of people out there that are learning from them as well. And it's things that a university, I'm not saying they couldn't teach it, but they don't, because they have to have a curriculum that does this, and this. And if you're lucky, for all the years I spent at university, my toolbox was full and it was hard to tote around. And I found out, well, there were some tools I could I'm probably never going to use them. There were other tools that were more valuable. And JC, I get tools from you every time we talk. So my box, whatever tools I took out of my formal education, I'm getting things back that I can use day to day. And that's what's really important. It's the day to day that makes the difference. And that's where your imagination needs to come in, because it gets some of the stuff that's coming at you. You go, oh, that's not all that important. I can let that go. So you're an amazing young man, sir. And we got a break coming up. Let's do the break.
We got a break right now, and it's going to be short because we only got about 7 minutes left in the show. And it's just so much I want to talk to you about, Dr. Omps. And I tell you, you bring out the best in me. You and your beautiful wife. And
that goes both ways, JC.
We're going to take a station break, as you see, as I mentioned earlier.
Sure.
This is incredible, a young man. So is Pauline, Dr. Pauline. And we're going to talk a little bit more about entrepreneurology in another show, because if I really want to showcase what that means, and it might be a fit for you. But we're going to talk a little bit more about them. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. You want to be part of the conversation, whichever platform you're watching something, all you do is go to that platform. It's your life. We'll see you shortly after the break.
I never wanna leave. Yeah, I'm right where I wanna be. We got something you and me, and I can't get rid of this feeling. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can't be taken for granted. Now I know that it has always been you. I can't help it, I'm so drawn to you. Just like
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I see two of my favorite people on this earth are here. You already know Dr. Uh, Jim Omps, and this is Dr. Pauline Crawford. And I'm talking about wow. Well, we got the better part of 3.5 minutes left in this show. It's been that wonderful. We got to do this again.
This is
We
double wisdom, double wisdom.
you know what? I want to talk about, and we don't have time today. I want to do a show where we're going to talk about entrepreneurology, where we want to get a world of understanding of what that is, because I think it's so needed. I think it's so helpful to bring in everything that we're talking about: knowledge, experiences, imagination together. Pauline, real quickly, we got about 2 minutes left. What are your thoughts on that, Pauline?
You go.
Go ahead.
Well, what I've learned about entrepreneurology is that it is that expansion. I came from a very traditional schooling background, but what you learn out of life is just so much more. We've been together 12 years and we've had such an adventure. It hasn't been smooth sailing. We've been around the world. I could write a chapter in my book about wheelchairs I've known. But we've used our imagination at each of those points. We went to Malaysia without a plan for 4 years. We didn't even know it would be 4 years. So I think my wisdom from entrepreneurology and having met Jim's father is that never say never. And the world is in a place where we need imagination. We need to teach our young adults that they can be anything they want to be, but not ruthless and violent and criminal, because the challenge in our world is that a lot of kids are lost and they're going the wrong way. And yet we believe that they've got talents, they've got natural gifts. A bit like Dr. Jim here could play this keyboard when he was 4. It wasn't this keyboard, but he knew how to play it. It was instinctive. I believe every young adult, every young child, everybody has a natural gift. They won't all be entrepreneurologists, but the ones who are can create the wonderful businesses for everybody else to work with. So my passion is creating
I believe about 2 minutes, but I believe that we certainly need to talk about this a lot more, and I believe that we need to let the world understand this, and I believe we need to talk about how they can become part of our program and expand. And I mean, if it's a fit, it's a fit. Jim, real quickly, 1 minute or less. What are your thoughts?
Well, I agree. I look forward to the opportunity, JC, to again interact with you on this platform and talk about entrepreneurology, because it was something my father worked a long time on, and I was blessed to be able to work for several decades as well with him. So it was a work of love, and it was something that we knew, if we could get it out there, that it has the potential to help everybody have a better life and to be more fulfilled than we appear to be these days. So you're right. I look forward to the opportunity to talk with you about entrepreneurology, because what I found just today and the last time I talked with you is that you know a lot about it, and it comes so naturally to you, and that impresses me, sir.
Thank you. I tell you, we're completely out of time right now, but Dr. Pauline, Dr. Jim, let's let's get back on here in about a month or so in March, and let's share with the world entrepreneurology and let them decide. Yeah. So I want to thank both of you always. Like, we love you guys to death. You already know that. For taking the time, come on the show. Dr. Jim, happy birthday again. So This has been wonderful. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for taking the time to tune into the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Always, 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 always dream big, think big, and be big at everything that you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's Your Life. We'll see you then.